to really survive as a human race is to have, like bunnies, have as many children as possible.
What do you play then? A lot of you play still a lot of guitar to refresh yourself with ideas as well. You still practice a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, guitar's where it starts usually. Always. Usually, guitars are in. We all get guitars in our houses, and that's kind of where it starts. Mm-hmm. We can't play anything else sufficiently well enough.
No. Every song we ever write starts with an acoustic guitar. There's probably never been I don't think we've ever written a song without it starting on an acoustic guitar ever. You know.
Yeah, for the new album cover, I saw that. Yeah, at least not for all, but for the more part of your album covers was always a sort of sunny or sunset-like sky or morning sky. I'm not sure what. And this one has also had a sky, but with a big tornado and clouds. So it was, for me, it looked a bit different than the other ones. Was that a conscious decision or an idea behind that?
Well, the idea of the sleeve is tying in the idea of outbursts, like natural outbursts, like hurricanes and tidal waves and that kind of thing, with the outbursts of the songs, the like emotional outbursts. It's kind of a play on that, on the album title, really. But so far as making it a dark sky versus the previous albums being a light sky, we didn't even think about it until just now.
But yeah, do you have a like for skies, or is it just it always has been a coincidence that you've had?
Again, it's one of those weird things. Even if we started out like we've started out saying let's not do that, let's do something completely different. I like pictures, I like drawings with pencils. Eventually, it will be a vista of a landscape with a big sky. It just seems to happen to us.
Now you say that, the idea for the album cover was we were going to have pencil sketches or portraits of us.
That's it. It's in fancy dress clothes.
What happened to that?
I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? We just we get pulled into the same thing. But I kind of love that as well. That happened. It's like magic. It just always seems to. Even if you think you've lost your identity or lost whatever the meaning was underneath it all just happens in front of you anyway.
Yeah. You said you had some emotional outbursts in songs, maybe, or probably a lot of you've changed as persons. You've grown up a little bit more. Do you see now a different kind of outbursts maybe in your life than you had when you were starting the whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, in some ways we're different. In other ways, you're exactly the same. It's. I mean, we've had a whole bunch of children, so that's a huge outburst. 4 outbursts at least. So yeah, things have definitely changed, But it's weird because here we are on tour, still in the band, still playing all the music, and it's kind of strangely consistent life.
But does the family life, is it possible to combine it with touring, or you have to slow down a little bit on that?
You can't really do the two things at the same time. You just have to have a very understanding family that let you go away because you have to for a few weeks. I don't think we could do the touring that we used to do. We used to go on and on and on and on and on and on. And you'd actually forget what your life was at home. You'd come back home almost like a year later, really. And it was like you'd come back into somebody else's life, very strange. We couldn't do that now because we wouldn't have a family left. So yeah, you have to be very stringent and strong about, we go away for no more than this amount of time and then we come home for this amount of time.
Ah, so it's basically 2 worlds then, so to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, just one extra question about the natural outbursts that you refer to now on the record sleeve. Yeah, you mentioned also the sea, but also this tornado now. Is that for you? Do you see that as a sign, or is it not? Do you see that as a serious thing? The natural state of that moment?
What you mean, like the apocalyptic sort of vision?
Is that? I mean, it's a little bit underneath, maybe it's in some of the words.
I think it's so part of living in this age that it's in everyone. If you're going to ignore it, you're kind of not really paying attention to what's going on. Every advert, every newsreel, everything mentions the environment, the the end of the world, all that kind of thing, you know. So when in the 60s, Bob Dylan and all his friends thought the world was going to end with nuclear war, and at the moment, and they wrote songs about it, and at the moment everyone's petrified that the world's going to end, you know, whenever, because of whatever. But you know, it's just part of living on the world at this moment. It's not that we're particularly like going to start a rally about it, but it's part of life.
It's a reference more than a comment, I think, isn't it, really?
But with that in the back of your head, how is it to raise children now in this day and age with that in mind?
My theory is that, I mean, the planet's going to be okay, right? It's not save the planet, it's save the human, that's what people are saying. So the only way that we can really survive as a human race is to have, like bunnies, have as many children as possible, so that when the big change comes and the world resets itself, there might be a few survivors.
So that's what we're planning to do here in Amsterdam first.
Yeah, we'll start here.
We better call the wives, make sure they're okay with it.